Hello and welcome to my first ever World of Warships video with me, Sir 10 Death. The Duca D'Aosta is currently available in the premium shop, and some of you might be wondering, is it worth the gold? Well, I'm going to be playing some footage of the Duca D'Aosta, or I'll just call it the Duca from now on to avoid offending any Italians for my pronunciation problems. And just be talking a little bit about the ship while some replay happens in the background. It's not a stunning game, it's just a game I quickly grabbed because I've had one of these in my port, and he said garage there, in my port for 3 or 4 months since it was last available. So the Duca is a tier 6 Italian cruiser, and well, we're going to see as time goes on here what it does well, what it does not so well. But we're just going into looking for a fight here, trying to get into a battle, and we're going to see what happens. Let's talk about this ship generally. Let's talk about its pros to start with, its advantages. I am playing this game, by the way, in co-op mode, just because I wanted to quickly grab a game just to show off some of its potential. Naturally, like anything in World of Tanks or World of Warships or World of Warplanes, a lot of it's down to how well you play. I don't consider myself a stunningly amazing player in this game or any others. I'm just okay. Let's firstly look at the graphics. The ship looks pretty. It's as simple as that. It does look very nice. Got some very attractive paint job on there. I've got myself a couple of extra flags on here to try and boost up my commander skills and cash that it makes in the port. And yeah, it's quite a nice ship appearance-wise, I think anyway, in my opinion. So we're off and running in this battle. Let's get going here then. And I'm just going to go on the outside of this map for one simple reason. First thing worth mentioning about the Duca, it's talking about its advantages. It's a fast cruiser. It does hit a maximum of 36.5 knots, and you'll see here we are just well, not even 15 seconds into the game, it's already doing over 20 knots. It's quite quick off the mark, pretty quick acceleration, and it's ticking along there quite nicely. You can see it's pulling away fast. It's now doing over 30 knots. It's a pretty nippy machine. It moves around quite well, and that's one of its advantages. Other things worth noting, you will see down at the bottom of the screen there that I've got high explosive shells at the minute loaded up. It obviously carries torpedoes as well. Let's mention those torpedoes. They're a little bit of a double-edged sword. One of the advantages, and you can see this from the circle on the mini-map, they have a ridiculously long range. They have about a 12-kilometer range, which is huge at tier 6 for torpedoes. Unfortunately, those torpedoes, they're quite slow. They move at 51 knots, which means you've got to really either be very, very fortunate, or you've got to be really, really planning where the aim is going to go. Now you'll see the other thing I've done, I've just launched into the sky there the spotting plane. The spotting plane, which is one of the second things that this is an advantage, is it allows you to shoot over greater distances, and it gives you this kind of strange, almost isometric top-down view. So now, because of having the plane, I can shoot a ridiculously long way. It stretches, that's my shells coming in there. I am now trying to drop some shells, and this is where you try to really predict where that ship's going to be in, as long as about 3 or 4 minutes time. It's going to take that long to get over there. So yeah, it's got the advantage. That's some more of those shells coming in there. These ones are tipping in nicely. Yep, one of them caught it, so I'm now getting the range now. The shells themselves, they're not particularly high damaging, and one of the disadvantages is they only have a 7% chance to set on fire, although that one actually just did. But they are pretty fast reloading every few seconds, and more importantly, look at the angle how these fire across the surface of the water. These are shells that travel with a really quite fast paced, low trajectory, so it doesn't take long for them to get to the target, therefore you don't need much lead time. They are fizzing over the surface. There they are, they're launched there, and here they are coming in very, very low and fast. Some other ships fire their shells with a very high arc, and it takes a huge amount of time to reach the target, but these ones are fizzing over the water quite quickly and just chipping away. I haven't done very much damage so far. It's up to just under 8,000, but you'll see that every 6 seconds they are firing across there, and there's some of those torpedoes I launched a long time ago, but they actually missed the target, unfortunately. So I'm trying to dump some more in the water now, because the torpedoes take a little over a minute to rearm. So yeah, it's got that spotting plane, which is now just landed again, come back onto the deck. It also has got defensive anti-aircraft fire, so if you get one of these torpedoes or dive bombers coming in from the aircraft carriers. You can launch up your own kind of fighter and fight them off a little bit. Its standard AA, anti-aircraft fire, isn't bad, particularly if you have the right captain's perks on the ship. It can be pretty good there. So yeah, it's got a lot of advantages: fast firing guns, the ability to use hydroacoustic search as well, which can help spotting those destroyers who are hiding behind smoke as well. Disadvantages we've mentioned already about the HE shells only having a 7% chance of actually causing a fire. The torpedoes moving pretty slowly. The other thing worth noting is right now you see I'm firing armour penetrating shells. They have got fairly low penetration compared to some of the ships, but look how fast, and the grouping. Notice how the dispersion of these is not that bad. Here they go, launched now, and they are actually, now this I don't know what I was even thinking here, it's a ridiculous idea. So here we are, let's just have watch here, let's launch some shells and see how they fizz over the surface of the water. I've put those torps in the water there because this ship was slowing down. I'm hoping he's had his engine knocked out. But look how fast he's meeting the target. Look how the shells are grouping together nicely. So even though they don't do lots of damage in their own right, they just chip away at targets pretty effectively. So yeah, it's got a lot of advantages and a few disadvantages. Overall, would I recommend it? Would I not? Personally, I love this ship. I think it's a fun ship. If you play games to have fun, which is what I do, it's really, 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 really great. Yeah, if you're wanting the best credit maker ever, there are better ones. There are tier 8 premium ships. If you're wanting the most damaging ship, there are better ones. If you're wanting a ship that maybe has better torpedoes, there are better ones. But if you want a nice all-rounder with a balance of what it can do, it's pretty manoeuvrable, it's got decent guns, it's got decent torpedoes, its own armour isn't great, but it's not bad, it's not the worst in the world. But it is a fun ship to play. It is really, really quite enjoyable here, and I like it. At the minute it's available for about another week in the premium shop, and it costs, I live in the United Kingdom, it costs about £16 for the basic ship and port slot, so maybe about €20. If you want the full package with all the bells and whistles and commander perks and some flags and the likes, it's about double that, about £34 or maybe €40. Yeah. You'll see there some of the secondary battery just doing a little bit of damage there. My damage in this game isn't stunningly good. It's very, very broadly average at best. 28,000 damage. But just doing 28,000 damage in a short game on co-op mode, and look at that. 81,000 credits netted as well. I mean, that's quite a lot of credits to make in a quick, short game. If you're playing random battles, you will, of course, increase that. But yeah, would I recommend it? I certainly would. It's just my opinion, but I think the Duca is a lovely ship to play at a relatively cheap cost, and it's fun. I like it a lot, and I hope you do too, should you choose to get one. I hope that this short mini review has been useful and helped you make your decisions, and as ever, do subscribe to my channels. I'm going to be keeping more Warships videos coming, as well as my tank ones. Thanks very much. Goodbye.